Hey, folks, it's time for the quote of the day, and I've said this before. I will no doubt have to say it again and again. When I quote somebody for quote of the day, that does not necessarily mean that I support them, that I agree with them, that I like them, that I think that necessarily their voice should be lifted up. I just think that sometimes certain people in history or certain people that are even alive today can be horrible fucking people, but that you can still frame a conversation around things that they have said. And well, quite honestly, I thought that he was dead when I thought about quoting him today. I really did. I thought that the man that I'm quoting today was dead. That is, I'm not even lying. I was like, when I started to look into him a little bit, I was like, oh shit, he's still alive. Completely shocked. Completely shocked. Today I'm gonna quote. You'll know his name. Newt Gingrich. Today is his birthday. Fuck this guy. We're not celebrating him, but I am going to quote him because I want to show something. I want people to understand something. I want you to kind of understand what we're up against, especially if you're liberal or leftist or even a centrist. You should understand the kind of hypocrisy that you're up against, the kind of horrifying people that we're up against. Newt Gingrich is without a doubt one of the worst men I've ever heard stories about. One of the worst men that I can even imagine. The worst kind of man that I can even imagine. When we talk about, speak up when your buddies are pricks and speak up when they're womanizing and speak up when they're this is the kind of men that we're supposed to speak up against. That's the kind of man that Newt Gingrich is. He's the kind of person that we take a stand and say, you are the fucking problem. That's what he is. He is a fucking problem, and he has been. He always has been. Now there are some that say he's a relatively decent guy when it comes to like animals and stuff like that, and he did help with some legislation that helped animals, and I appreciate that. But he also is one of the main proponents for uh, tax cuts on capital gains tax and things like that. Like he's one of the reasons why we are in a position where billionaires and millionaires and now trillionaires, I guess, making so much more money than they did in the past is because we cut capital gains tax under Newt Gingrich. And not to mention the fact that he was also the guy that was one of the leading guys to go after Clinton literally while he was cheating on his wife, who was sick. So I mean, the level of hypocrisy with this man is absolutely fucking stunning, even for a fucking disgusting, idiotic, conservative Republican. He is among the lowest of the low, and I mean that genuinely. And if he was here seeing this video, if he ever comes across this, sir, I mean it with all of my heart. You are a reprehensible human being. You should be ashamed of yourself, and I personally cannot wait until you cease drawing breath. Genuinely. Now, I'm going to give you the quote so that we can continue. And I want you to remember this kind of phrase as I give you the quote. It is often said throughout history that you can judge a person based upon the people that they stand against, their enemies, basically. I want you to judge me based upon him as my enemy. Okay, that's how I would like to be judged. I would like people to look at the things that he's done and what he represents and what he stands for, and then say, "Oh, you are opposed to that," because I absolutely am. Newt Gingrich once said, in complete and total hypocrisy, the values of the left cripple human beings, weaken cities, and make it difficult for us to, in fact, survive as a country. The values of the left cripple human beings, weaken cities, and make it difficult for us to, in fact, survive as a country. He believes that people on the left, the things that we stand for, simple things like taking care of people, healthcare, stuff like that, the our ideology of trying to actually make sure that this country is fair and equitable in any way, those are the things that are ripping the country apart. It couldn't at all be hypocrites and people that literally empower corporations and billionaires to continue to rake the average citizen over the coals every single goddamn day to make it so that any sort of unity or voice that may rise up from people is immediately squashed out by the fact that we have to show up every goddamn day or we literally die in the system that they have created. It couldn't it all be that, right? It's got to be the leftist ideologies. Now, if you don't know why I have such vitriol, so much hatred for this man, and if you don't know who he is as a person, I'm going to give you kind of a Cliff's Notes version. I might have to look down because honestly, there's a lot, and I want to make sure I get it all. So I'll be glancing down at Wikipedia, so don't mind that. But if you don't know, he's been married 3 times. Okay, his first wife was one of his teachers in school. I don't remember what she taught, but she was 26 and he was 19. So I mean, I know that that's because he was a man, the double standard is right in play, and it isn't as gross to people, but it's still pretty fucking predatory on her part, and honestly, nothing to be proud of on his part. Um, because he ended up having two kids with her, and they had what seemed to be a good marriage. The problem is that it seemed to be a good marriage because it was an open secret that he was cheating on her the entire time. Everybody knew except for her, apparently. And when she ended up being diagnosed with uterine cancer, he showed up at the hospital. Now, his people refute this. They say that it didn't happen. Unfortunately, everybody else that was a witness to it said it happened. So whatever his fucking campaign says doesn't really matter. Not campaign, his group, I guess, now, since he's not campaigning for anything. But he has, his stable of people that, go to bat for him. So they say that this didn't happen. But he showed up at the hospital, and she had just come out of surgery for uterine cancer. Uterine fucking cancer. And he was like, okay, so let's talk about this divorce. Something that she didn't know that he even wanted. He had been cheating on her the whole time. So they end up getting a divorce, and she had filed for child support, which he said that he was going to pay her $400 and a month and $40 for their two kids, which he never paid, according to her. Before she died of cancer in 2013, she said, he never paid a fucking penny of it. Now I know people that have been put in jail for literally months and months and months because they didn't pay $700 in child support, right? And some of them didn't pay because the child support letter was literally mailed to the wrong address. It wasn't even their fault. They didn't know where to pay it or how to pay it. So they were put in jail. Newt Gingrich never even fucking got in trouble for it. His ex-wife literally said before she died, he never paid a goddamn penny. So he ends up getting a divorce from her and then marrying the woman that he was cheating on her with, who was also pretty young. She comes in, helps him with the finances that he had, because he had all sorts of trouble. Apparently, he didn't know how to handle money either. A great quality to have in one of your Speaker of the Houses. So she comes in. She ends up getting multiple sclerosis, but the entire time he was with her, he was cheating on her as well. Now that wedding or that marriage apparently wasn't like really a great one, and he had approached her and said, "Hey, I wouldn't mind, banging other chicks," and she was like, well, "You married me, motherfucker," and he was like, "Well, yeah, but come on, banging chicks," and she was like, "Nah," and so he just did it anyway. So, that he asked for an open marriage. She said no, and he just kept doing it. So, he went and did it, and then she gets multiple sclerosis, and he divorces her. And then he goes and because he was cheating on her the whole time, he goes and he marries the next lady who he was cheating with, and apparently they're still together. Again, shocking to me that this motherfucker is still alive, but they're still together. I'm sure he's cheated on her with another aide or another whatever. She may be looking past it. She may not care, and that's fine. You know what? Let your freak flag fly. But the idea that, first of all, three separate women found that fucking disgusting pile of shit worthy of touching is honestly, I have to hold back. I may throw up in my mouth a little bit. Because what a fucking horrifying thought. Like, how could anybody find a spineless piece of shit like that attractive? I genuinely don't know. And maybe it's a power thing, maybe it's a money thing, I don't know. But either way, I wanted to quote him for two reasons. One, I wanted to show the blatant fucking hypocrisy of talking about leftist values while being the kind of piece of shit that he is. But also, if I can take 10 minutes to just rail about how much I hate this man, maybe, just maybe, you will get an inkling for just how much I fucking hate this man. And it is way more than I've been able to give you here. So, again, when the day comes, right? He's on the list. I hope that it happens soon for him. I really do. Uh, no happy birthdays for this man today. It is MC Escher's birthday though, so wish MC Escher, the artist, a happy birthday. And it's also Greg Kinnear, great actor. It's his birthday. Everybody else, take care of yourself. Take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.